so important that you focus on who you are when nobody's looking. Who you are, not when you're on a big stage, not when you're on TV, not when the cameras are rolling, but the things that you're supposed to do every day. Every day, every day. That's going to determine whether or not you make some money in your business. But first, you know what we got to do. It's time to bring in the Zoom. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Bringing in the Zoom. Bringing in the Zoom. Okay, here we go. Well, good morning, good evening, what to do? How are you? Hootie hoo, happy Monday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, doll Avant, that's D-O-double-L. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion bae, aka the bitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of the OGs. Over here, we're getting off the financial grid because honestly, ain't nobody got time. There's no time. I was trying to let some people know you might want to leave America while you still could. Nobody believed me. Everybody thought I was being dramatic. Well, how about now? How about now? Can't hardly get out the airport right now. But you know, it's fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. Um, we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to focus on a game plan. Because those who are committed to this task, this transformation, to go from being the version of yourself that's always, looking for somebody to give you something or hoping, I need a job and I need this, and depending on external systems that, as you can see, are no longer trustworthy. When you're ready to shift from that version of yourself to the version of yourself who wakes up, does what you need to do, make your money, and go ahead on, that's what we do here in the dollhouse. So welcome. Happy New Year again. For those who didn't hear me say that yesterday, yes, now is the new year, not January. It's right now. And so now's the time, the birds are out, the flowers are blooming, and now's the time to kind of step on into the energy as we start this next cycle, next session, if you will, cycle, planetary alignments and all types of things are going on. So we need to lock in. Now, I want to tell you a story today about actually a friend of mine who I never tell anybody's business. Okay. But she has always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Matter of fact, that's where I met her because, I started my tech company and I was going around the city doing all the things. There's a lot of programs and they invite you to all these programs. So you go. So we're at a program, I want to say at Georgia Tech, and we were in the same class and we became cool to this day, right? And let's just suffice to say that her business did not work out. So she proceeded to have job after job after job after job, after job after job after job. And now she just got a new job working like in the entrepreneurship space, which is why I have such strong feelings about this because, there are a lot of people out here teaching entrepreneurship who've never been successful entrepreneurs. So I'm trying to understand, how does that work? But it's neither here nor there. It's whatever. So she's been running a lot of programs that, air quote, teach people how to be entrepreneurs. And one thing I used to attempt to get her to do that I'm now going to teach you guys and to help you focus on doing, she refused to do. And that is showing up a little bit more authentically on all of her socials. I said, because if you build a community, if you follow the 7 C's of social capital, you have your concept, but that's just the beginning. Most people have an idea for a business or they think they invented some technology or something and they stop right there and they think, okay, where's my money? That's not how it works. You got to go from the concept to the content, the first iteration of it, because it's an experiment, right? So what's your 5-star pitch? What's your landing page? Your 1-pager, the basic things that you're going to need to start talking to humans. You got to have some version of that content. And then go have these conversations, at least 50 to 100 people who would be the folks that you think would be your customers, and really talk to them. How do I talk to them, dog? We use the Afro method. Go through all of that, 50 to 100, then you come back and revise, your concepts and your content and all that based on what the people told you, so that you're literally reflecting back to them what they said they wanted. Why? Because you got to give the people what they want. It's what we do. So once you do that, you have enough conversations, then you get into a cadence. This is where I need you showing up consistently in your social media, showing up consistently, once a week, hosting things, conversations around the problem that you solve, demonstrating your thought leadership, demonstrating what you're able to do, the before and after, the effects and the impact that people get from using your product. You must have a cadence. That's the heartbeat of your business. After that, everything after that is proof that you did the first part correctly. Because if you're doing this and it's having an impact on people, they're going to start having confidence in you. That's what we call a brand. They will actually lend you their social capital because they know every time you show up, every time you speak, every time I get this product, I'm going to get a consistent result. It's going to be great. I trust them enough. I have enough confidence in them that I'm willing to tell somebody else about them. And then you also get credibility. That means people are now, like, third parties are interviewing you. You start getting on blogs and different platforms and things like that. Um, there's a narrative about you in rooms that you're not in. You have credibility, not just you saying that you're great, but other people are saying it. And if you have all of these elements, that's how you get to what we call community. That means if you say, I'm going to be at this place at this time, I'm having an event over here at this place and time, people will pull up. So if you have those things embedded in your business, you could sell them shoelaces. You could change your product tomorrow. It doesn't matter. They're going to follow you because you've built community. Well, I couldn't get my friend to ever do that. And one of the ways that she could have easily done that is just tell the story of her journey, becoming an entrepreneur, leaving corporate. She's Ivy League like me. And, all of these different experiences that she had in working in the entertainment industry and all this kind of stuff. She would not tell authentic stories. This is one of the stories she could have told. Because she, a few years ago, she's older than me. And so it was kind of like a big deal for her. A few years ago, she decided she was going to run like a 10K or whatever you call the marathon thing. Okay. And so a year, let's say she signed up like a year before the first race was, and she could barely run a 5K at that time. But she went ahead and signed up for this 10K. She was totally terrified. She's like, there's no way. What if I can't finish? I'm going to fail. It's going to be so embarrassing. Like, she had signed up for some charity thing, or you know how they do. But she did it anyway. She said, I'm going to be slow and steady, and I'm going to do it anyway. So every day she would show up, do short runs, running slow. Sometimes she was hurting. She wanted to quit after the first couple of kilometers or whatever, doing all of that. But she kept showing up. She would run when it felt like nothing was getting better. She felt like she was getting, more out of shape for a while. But she kept showing up every morning for months, right? She's doing this and just feeling terrible, felt like nothing's happening. She's running the same little route. She's trying to do, she's in a running club. They're telling her what to do. Legs are tired. She can't really go any faster. She doesn't have any breath, all of this. And somewhere in there, she's been doing this for several months. Because I'm sitting here watching her. She tried to get me to join the running club. And I was like, theoretically, yeah, but no. And she said then one day she woke up and all of a sudden things had shifted. She said, one day I realized I could do this 5K without, I could do it. It's like not even a thing. It's more like a warm up for me now. I can run 10K, I do that every weekend. It's no big deal. So now she went from that to like being ready to run a whole marathon, which is crazy. I've been to the New York City Marathon. I cheer people on. I'm not doing that. It's just not, I don't have it. I think she actually did a triathlon or something like that. She went on to do that. Now, she's telling me this story, talking to me like a friend. But if I had told her to write that story on her social media, instead of just posting the picture at the end on LinkedIn and just say with her little, participation trophy and say, guys, I ran a marathon this weekend. I'm so proud of me. Aren't you proud of me? That's how people post on social. And how can I say this? Don't nobody care. Okay, how about no one cares? But what she could have and should have said is what she said to me. We would go to lunch probably like once a month. I got several friends that they love nothing more than to sit outside. Like how it feels right now, the weather right now. Sit outside at cafe of choice and have whatever snack, whatever meal, whatever it is, and we'll just sit out there and talk for hours till the sun goes down, right? Get off work early, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's 2:00, time to go. You know what I mean? Like leave the office and just sit. And she would talk to me. And what she said to me when she was talking to me, she said, you know, what I learned is like progress doesn't really feel like progress when it's happening. It felt like nothing was changing. But over time, I turned around and looked back, and now I can run a 10K with no problem. And girl, I'm about to do this marathon, like da 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 da. And then, I mean, and I'm looking at her like, why? Where is this written down? Where is the video? Why don't you talk like this? This is why your business failed. I couldn't say that. It's my friend. But this is what I'm sharing with you guys. We have to start showing up with the same energy, the same spirit. We've been talking a lot about storytelling and how to start showing up as that version of yourself, telling a story the way I just told you a story. You're invested, you're leaning in. You know, again, I could have been like, so therefore, I'm starting a running club for entrepreneurs. And y'all would have been like, I might do need to get, you know what I'm saying? Like you would have followed me somewhere just because I'm engaging like a regular human. But I want to talk about the point of the story that she never shared on social media. The point of the story, as you go through the work of developing this skill set, learning how to show up, learning how to be a storyteller, developing this skill. Why do I have to do it? Why can't I hire somebody to do it? Because do you have hundreds of thousands of dollars? Do you just have a bunch of money to just pay somebody to go and figure it out, do it again, try it again, run some more ads, do it again? No, you don't. Or if you were to hire an intern, somebody from, oh, my cousin, my niece goes to Spelman, she could do it for me. How are you going to know if she's doing it right? How do you know? You have nothing to judge the work by. So the one commodity that we don't have, the one resource that we can no longer waste is time. If you don't know what's going on in American airports right now, if you don't know that we almost tonight at 7:40 p.m., it was about to be up, like globally. And your president backed down. It was a 48-hour, deadline. And if you don't do this, we're doing that. And they said, well, if you do that, then we're doing like it. And he said, oh, well, based on significant great talks over the weekend, we will, we'll give them some more time. We will not enforce the deadline. You know what they said? We didn't talk to that man. They're all lies. These are all lies. But somehow, some way, they're not going to push the button at 7:40 p.m. tonight. We don't have time. So if we learn this skill, you can do your own content. You can create your own, marketing and ways to go and find new people. You can train your own AI or your GPT of choice to do this for you. You can save some of that money because you're going to need it. Okay, so the point, progress feels like nothing while it's happening. It feels like nothing's changing. So if you're showing up every day, doing your big five, doing what you know you're supposed to do, practicing your pitch, doing this, going talking to people, sometimes you might have great conversations. Some of you guys are giving me great feedback, great stories and stuff. But some days it's going to feel like nothing's happening. Because the gap between this invisible progress and the part where, oh my God, it's working, there is a gap there. And so it's what you do and what you say to yourself. And whether can you embody, like New Edition said, can you stand the rain? Can you hold the energy long enough to get to the other side of this transformative, this metamorphosis that you're going through? Till you learn how to fly, till you learn how to do this with intention, till you make it to mastery. There's only 3 levels of the video game: motion, momentum, mastery. Can you hold the energy long enough? Or am I going to lose you to the Bermuda Triangle? And then you say, oh, you go back to the old programming. Oh, I need to make some money. I don't know what to do. You just go back to how everybody else moves instead of holding the energy and doing the thing and do it again and do it again and do it again long enough for these results to actually compound so you can see them. People say, oh my God, I don't need an email newsletter. I don't need this. I don't need that. Yes, you do. Well, I tried it. Nothing happened. Hold on. The post that you post that nobody reads, or you feel like, the algorithm is playing in your face and nobody saw it, that counts too. When you first start your email list and you can't get 2 people to sign up for it, nobody opened the email, that counts too. the content that you made, back in the day, and you were just like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. But the audio wasn't that great, and 11 people saw it. That counts too. All of that is compounding. Okay. I'm not here to give you a pep talk. It's Monday. We got to start a new week. Some people, I start my week in the middle of the week, but you know what I'm saying? You got to think about this like mechanics, like physics, like momentum. Like this is how this works. If you never take a step, you can't take another one. And another one, and another one, and another one. And if you can't walk, you're never gonna run. And if you don't speed the thing up, you're certainly never gonna fly. Like, what are we doing? So the phase where it feels like nothing's working or nobody's looking, or I don't know, who are you when no one's looking? You know what they call that? When you don't have an audience and you show up anyway. When you do the thing because that's what you're supposed to do. You wash the dishes in the kitchen because you said you were, not because anybody's coming over. Integrity, character, as who you are when no one's looking. And this is actually the work. And that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between hustle and habits. There's a difference between a consumer. I just want to spend a little money on some ads and just pay somebody right quick to just build me a. All these people on TV, you're not going to tell me I'm not going to have a TV show. They're on TV with the entrepreneurship shows, and they come in and try to fix the business and stuff. And they're like, oh my God, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. My life, my dream, da, da, da. And they're not even paying attention to the details. They're not doing the work. There's a lack of, it's integrity. And we use that word. It's not a judgment. Integrity means it's the same through and through. So if you're telling me this is what you are and who you are, I should see that reflected throughout in every bit of every detail. It's who you are when no one's looking. That's what encodes your business. That's what makes it sustainable. That's what makes it unbreakable in the face of World War V or whatever is going on. So we need to be that person, the version of ourselves that's going to show up and do the thing, because that's what we're doing. Because that's what we committed to do. And all this entitlement, I don't know where we get this. Well, I've been doing this for X amount of time, so it should be some money by now. Well, not if you didn't do the thing that makes the money come. What do you mean? Where's supposed to come from? Well, I would need people to believe in my dream. You know what? There's 4 quadrants. Y'all remember, we had the slide up. I want you to imagine 4 quadrants. In the top left, you have desire. That's your dream. That's your vision. That's all things you want to do in the world. All things, when you were 12 and when you were a kid, and all the stuff that you can do anything that you want to do. You could be anything that you want to be. If you don't give up, shoot, you could do anything that you want. All of this, we tell the kids they could be anything. And I don't know where we get that from, because first of all, but okay, cool. So all your dreams, your passion, and all of that stuff, that's the top left quadrant. Then you come over here, top right, your beliefs, your identity, who you are when no one's looking, what you really believe about the world, not what you say to me, not what sounds good when we all at the entrepreneurship program, dapping it up in a place that should not be named, and y'all talking all this stuff, and yeah, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. I can see myself doing this, your idea, and you talk. No, who are you for real? Whatever's going on in that quadrant is going to determine everything that we can see. So those top 2 are 4D. Can't see that. It's internal, that goes on within you. Then you come down, bottom left, you got your actions. This is your behavior. This is how you actually showing up in the world. And what you do every day, and do it again, or doing nothing. Not putting any inputs in. Those actions, bottom right, determine your results. So beliefs, action, results. So if you don't like your results, you got to raise the bar, BAR. You got to do something different with who you are when no one's looking, so that you have the capacity. We got to reset, identity, seek, expansion. We have to rise to have the capacity to embody this dream that we said we had. Okay? And if you're holding that energy, I told somebody this some weeks back. I don't remember who I was talking to. But they talk about the type of man that they want and the relationship that they have. And I started just asking a few questions. I'm like, well, how are you conducting yourself right now, boo? Well, he's not here yet. Oh, so that just means you're for the streets until you meet him, and then you go. And they looked at me. I'm looking at me crazy. I'm looking at you. You said this is the version of the person that you said you wanted. So you need to be a match to that right now. You know what I'm saying? You can't fool the universe. So when no one's looking, when it feels boring, when it feels like, oh, I'm just doing this, but it didn't happen, it's compounding. You know what I'm saying? This is the boring part. Remember I said your money should be boring? You should wake up, oh man, we made another $20,000 again this month. Oh, time to call the bookkeeper. You know, like accounting, like it should be boring. Like, oh, he has all his receipts again. Oh, he just had 10 over 10% increase week over week again. You know what I'm saying? It's not always supposed to be a highlight reel and I didn't know what was going to happen and a Hail Mary came and then at the last minute, I just got a contract out of nowhere. Well, hold on. I want the consistent, boring money. So we got to do the consistent, boring part if we want long, consistent, generational wealth. Okay. So feel free to come off mute, interrupt me today, because this is really my only point. I want to encourage you and hopefully motivate you to lock in. I don't use the word discipline very much because people avoid it. It's not about that. It's a character issue. It's an identity reset. This is the person that I am. So therefore I'm doing these things. Not like I need a dopamine hit and I need a high and it's got to feel like amazing. Otherwise I don't do the thing. Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. I am just coming back from outside, speaking to humans, feeling very happy. I had the inspiration to go back. I'm redoing the CRM. Now I'm doing CU again. So okay. I had this inspiration to go back to the school again, and it worked out even better than last time. They saw me again. They showed me where I would be setting up a table. They showed me the teacher's faculty room. And then I was in there. There was one person there. And then when that person wasn't paying me no attention, but then I was like, well, would you like to have assistant stretch inside this faculty, with you? Mm-hmm. And then she was like, well, I'm actually a substitute, so I don't really, I'm not here all the time. And I said, do I look familiar to you? She's like, you're Tracy, right? I was like, she was like, yeah, I used to be her trainer. And then she told the lady that was walking me around, who's one of the counselors, she's like, this lady stretched me in ways that I didn't even know I could be stretched. And she's like, she's really good. And I was like, that's craziness that I had that idea to go today. Mm-hmm. And then all these, there happened to be someone I knew.
You know why? Because intuition is always right.
And that's the point I was going to get to, is that intuition, I was asking you this several weeks ago, can intuition get you to the final goal? And what I realized, intuition can get you to the final goal. It's just that we keep going back to the start line. Right. We keep going back to the starting line, and it looked like intuition has the problem. Look like intuition is the issue, but it's us that keeps going back. And that's all I did, because I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the school. Like, intuition is telling me to go back to school. I have the lady's number. I have her name. I have her email address. But intuition is like, no, go back to the school. Mm-hmm. Don't speak to her. And
so you had social capital really there. Well. That's called social capital. Somebody else already knew. Somebody else had confidence in what you do, and they were able to verify from a third party, oh, she does this for real. And that gives you more credibility with your people. You're about to build community over there at that school. I'm just saying, it works. This is physics. Listen, it's physics.
So that's where I'm at right now. I did have a question, kind of off the subject. What the hell is going on with Cubans in Jamaica? How the hell does Trump have so much power to stop Cubans from helping another country? I'm kind of trying to understand.
And Cuba's being starved out right now. They don't even have infrastructure themselves.
It's like, so how do they have so much power to do this in a whole other country that they've had an embargo on for like umpteen years? I'm a little confused on how Trump got so much power to dictate how another country runs their
America has always had this much power. It's just that nobody was this much of a fool, as my mother would say. I want you to understand that every president since Ronald Reagan has been asked by, this is statement of fact, don't get upset with me, has been asked by the prime minister of Israel, whoever was prime minister at the time, when they come and visit, they ask them, please invade Iran. Since Ronald Reagan. Every president has said no until this man. So anyway,
this is wild.
it's not
So
that
there's
they haven't
protests
had
going
the
on in
power.
Jamaica.
It is just that
But
he's on
why
one.
is it? And no, I do agree. It's sort of like it's against the law to chew gum and then throw it on the street or pee on the side of the road. Not. It's illegal in India to commit suicide. Like you could, if you're caught and you're unsuccessful, you could be in prison for 7 years. So there are things that people just don't enforce all the time. So I get those type of laws, but I'm just sitting here like, why is it the Black countries that Trump is stopping Cubans from helping?
Because
and
racism?
Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I'm like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? Because racism?
Like, yeah, but I'm just a little like, why are what are they doing for Jamaica that Jamaica would even agree?
They already did this. They just did this for Honduras as well. This is not new. They just don't put it on the news. They just did. They had a whole team of medical support in Honduras, and our country forced them to leave. They go back to
What
Cuba.
are they replacing it with?
Nothing. They want everybody to crash and be on a digital control grid. I'm telling y'all, they don't want anybody prospering. They want you on their new surveillance system. That's why we're reading the book. If you haven't read it, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. This is not, I'm not exaggerating. They want every society to crash and all the people to be desperate so that you have to get on their system, and they give you programmable digital dollars. And if you don't do what they say and you don't stay within the range and your social credit score falls too low, they're going to hit a button and turn your money off. They want this worldwide, but especially in Black and brown countries. This is the plan. This is what they want. So that's why.
So Cuba's a problem because it's off the grid.
Any country is a problem that says we're not doing that. America is a problem. American citizens are a problem. That's why ICE is now being deployed at all U.S. airports. Because we're going to say, absolutely not. What are you talking about? You're not going to do that. America's not going for that. That's why the National Guard has been deployed to all 50 states. So they will be there starting in April for crowd control and civil unrest. Because we're not going to go for it, but they're going to be like, yeah, no. So they're going to keep pulling the plug on healthcare, no food, and prices going up, and no oil. They can't afford to go to work. This, just keep going crazy so that people are desperate. And then they're like, well, it's cool. Just take this and you'll be fine. But now you're on the digital control grid. You just see what I'm saying? That's the plan. That's literally, I'm not exaggerating. That's the plan. So we have to get our money so we can go ahead on and opt out of what they got going. So
get our money, and I'm out there, y'all, but get our money in this system. How much can it be worth if we're building this on top of their matrix?
No. We're getting cash flow so we can purchase assets. So we can let assets that are going to outpace the US dollar. Y'all, I say it every day. So assets that are going to not sit in USD in your truest bank. No. Assets that are going to survive the switch.
Will they respect?
Are you listening to what I'm telling you? This is a capitalistic system. They respect assets. Okay. There is no asset except the time, energy, effort, focus, and attention of another human being. And then when we use that energy to draw raw resources out of the ground, they call those assets too. So if you had a lithium mine in your backyard, that's an asset. If you got gold, they consider that an asset. If you got coal facilities, you got water assets that you control, real estate, they consider these assets. The system honors assets. If you have cash, they could just change that out, flip that, and then they're about to flip the switch on that. So we can't sit in USD. We got to purchase assets with our cash flow, then leverage those assets, get insurance wraps and all kinds of stuff. They have to honor when we do the same kind of contracts that they have. These are social contracts, by the way. But if we have the same kind of contracts that they have to honor the contract, because if they don't honor the contract, then their own contracts are also voided. But if you're acting like a consumer instead of an owner, you're on the wrong side of the system. They don't owe you anything. This dollar means nothing. They told you it's not backed by anything. They told you that in 1971.
And we saw during COVID, the way they were printing money, it ain't worth a damn thing.
It's not worth anything. They told you that in 1932. You can no longer trade this in for gold. No. And we kept going with it anyway. They told us. And so they feel in the universal karmic law, as long as we told them and y'all go with it anyway, you have given your consent to this foolishness. So I need 100 families who are not playing about going out here, making some cash flow so you can purchase some assets and leverage those assets so we can move out the way. There's that will always be the answer. The more
So
it's happening, the less crazy that I sound saying it.
How do we start to collapse time in real time to keep up with the type of foolishness I'm seeing happening?
This is what I'm telling you. This is why I've been talking like this for 2 years. This is why shout out to y'all who are streaming. There's a bunch of y'all over there today. What up though? We have to lock in. When intuition speaks, we move. You cannot allow a gap. I've had this thought in my mind for 6 months and I didn't do it. No. Intuition says, go, we go. Call this person, I call this person. Go to this thing, I go to the thing. Email her back. Ask him, oh, I don't know if he's going to. I said what I said. Think of your intuition like Niecy Nash or your grandmama or somebody. What did I say? Just do it. You go there, you think you're doing one thing, and you get there, and it's totally something else. I went to teach a class. I never would have called him. I listened to my fiance. He said, call him. I call him. I go there. Next thing you know, we got 10 more things that we wanted for some whole other project. Why would I think that would happen for me going there? How would I know that? There's no way for me to know that.
No, you don't.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how we collapse time. Intuition's like, go, move. When I said that March 29th, yes, intuition is already traveled in the future.
Okay, I see your point.
So that's the only way.
I'm moving with God energy.
Yes,
that's what yoga is about. It's actually yoga. It's not actually yoga. It's yoga.
Who knew? I don't know. Where's the video that says that? This is what I'm trying to say, Tracy. I need a whole archive of stuff where you all the things should already be on display. All the testimonials, people like the lady that you today. I need all of that somewhere. When you go and meet somebody, when you email them, you're sending them. It's not just me. Don't just take my word for it. Like reading Rainbow. All of us should sound like reading Rainbow.
Okay.
Don't take my word for it. And you send them a video with somebody doing
butterflies in the sky.
No, not that
I
part.
can go twice. That's not.
Take my word for it. That is the song. I'm saying not that part of Reading Rainbow. Don't just take my word for it. You know that part where they recommend the book?
Oh my God, you be bringing this stuff back.
So anyway, yes. So none of us are beginners. We've been doing this. We done put in the hours, we put in the years, you've done the research, you taken courses, you got certifications, you know what to do, you done invented the thing, you've launched and everything. You are somebody, okay? You are the expert of your space. You are not just getting here right now. You've been doing the work. Okay?
Yes.
And so now we have to guard against the old programming, the people around you. Nobody around you has ever built something from nothing, let alone built it to where you make $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month. They don't know. So you got people around you. Well, I don't see nothing yet. People around you want to get into a fight because they need you to pay their bills or whatever's going on. You got people around you who just are haters. You got people around you who don't understand.
Regulate their nervous system by getting a job. They want you to they would feel better
all
if
the
they
things,
had
all of that. Right?
Yeah.
And then you got the part of you that's just tired. You know what? I've been doing this for some years. I have been doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Nobody understood me. Nobody was supporting me. Nobody, whatever went on, people stole from you, whatever people have experienced, you get tired. And so that's what I'm speaking to today. I want us to be able to have enough character to still show up and still keep posting and still keep doing the thing when you don't feel like you're getting any support, but you don't necessarily see it just yet happening, coming out the money part yet. You still got to show up in the silence, because I want you to know that the silence is giving you data. There's feedback. There's data in the silence. Okay, so there's a voice in your head, and you need to follow intuition, not this other one, the one that when you're getting tired, or maybe it's not working, or maybe I just need to quit. The one that makes you want to go start over. You keep starting over instead of staying steady on this one long enough. Let me keep going until I talk to 50, 100 people, so I have some data, so I can go to my coach or go somewhere and zoom out, go back to the 4D, transcend this, and look down and see what I need to work on. My coach has been telling me for a year to get an email list. Maybe I need to do that. They have been telling me, you need to have some meetings, and you need to do this, and you need to write some things down, you need to do this. Maybe I need to go and do that instead of constantly saying, okay, I just need some money. If I get some money, maybe perhaps you've already gotten the wisdom of something you need to be doing, but you gotta get out of the weeds and zoom back out. Don't get lost in the sauce, and start focusing in a different kind of way. You got to be able to confirm and affirm in yourself what it is that you need to be doing right now. This is why this matters now. I'm glad you brought up the current events and all that stuff, Tracy. It matters right now because now we are actually in cognitive warfare. They are literally assaulting your mind to where you can't believe what's true and what's not. You got leadership. I mean, think about if you were a kid. It makes it plainer when I say it as if it was a kid. You're standing there, you're looking at your father, and he's telling you, he's gaslighting you. He'll come in, kick your door in, break your door down, tear up your room, trash your stuff. And then he'll turn around and look at you and say, look what you did. Look, your room is all messy. You better clean this up. You ain't nobody, and your room better be clean when I get back. And you're just like, hold on, you just did. What did I say? You better fix it. And he leave. So now you're traumatized. You're like, well, I guess I better fix it. You know what I'm saying? And then he come back like, better have, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we're gonna go on with this narrative like he didn't just do this. I'm telling you that's what's going on in this country right now. So we have leadership that's going to literally get up, create the problem, and then come back and say, well, if you don't have no money, take your broke home. Oh, you don't have no home because everybody's losing their home because they can't afford rent. Oh, well, your fault. You're bad. You're lazy. You didn't do what you needed to do. It couldn't be that what they did is crashing the entire economy. It's your fault. Well, people are lazy and people don't want to work and people don't. That's what, that's what they said for a year and a half. Y'all, it's been assault on our minds. People don't want to work. People got 2-3 jobs, still can't afford, basic stuff. Well, it's not our problem. They haven't raised, minimum wage since I don't know when. Well, you shouldn't be lazy. You shouldn't be expecting a handout as they get hundreds of millions of dollars from the government for their companies. That's how they got rich. But you are lazy. You're the problem. As they let AI just run rampant, they took all regulations off of AI for 10 years in the Genius Act last year while we were watching, dead year. I don't know what was going on last July. But you're the problem. Now that all the jobs, 50% of white collar jobs are going to be gone by this time next year. But you're the problem. And so we're all going around like, what is going on here? Hold on, wait a minute. And I'm here to tell you that this is by design. It's by design. So you have to now develop the part of yourself that is discerning clearly. You have to have an active practice of transcending, zooming out, going within, getting centered. I've never heard anybody teach meditation is a requirement for successful entrepreneurship. But that's one of the 7 habits in the book. You must. I gave you method 369. You've got to tap in, know what intuition is saying, and lock in and do it anyway, and do it again, and do it anyway, and do it again. Nobody understands. Do it again. No, I don't know what's going on. Do it again. I need some support. Do it because you have support here. This is what I'm saying. You're not by yourself. I don't know how other people are going to make it. I don't know. It's the only reason I want to get on bigger platforms so I can help more people. But you got to lock in and you got to pay attention to what you know the next step is to do and get her done so that we can speed up, go faster, because they're going to play in your face, tell you everything is fine, destroy the system, but say nothing to see here. And then after it's destroyed, say, well, why don't you have any savings? What's wrong with you? So then you're going to say, well, I wasn't prepared for this because you told me everything's fine. Well, you should have had a plan. Well, I did have a plan because you told me to go to school and get a job, and I did that. I had a 401k, and now you don't crash the whole market. Well, This is a meritocracy. America, everybody had an opportunity to get it together. Y'all didn't do nothing with your individual freedoms. They're going to blame you. And then everybody's going to freak out, civil unrest, and marching in the street or whatever. But it's not 1965. It's not going to work, y'all. So then they're going to come in and say, it's all right. We have a solution. And it's going to be some version of universal basic income. They call it universal high income. They're going to give you some amount of money that sounds like a lot of money. Only catch is it's digital. And you got to do what we say. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be some parameters on the use of this money. You can't just buy whatever. You can't just go wherever. You can't just live wherever. You got to do, as long as you do this and this and this, but we give you all this money though. Even though we know the money is based on nothing. We know it's not real. And we could have got off a long time ago. You could have bought some gold long time ago. This is not the first person you've ever heard tell you to buy something and other than sitting in cash. I've been saying XRP, XRP, like a crazy person for like going on 3 years. The knowledge, the information is globally available. So if people don't do it and you get trapped in the system, they're going to say, oh, well, I don't know why you didn't do nothing with yourself. I guess you didn't want, I guess, some people are just lazy. Some people just want to be, that's what they're going to say. So we got to learn how to lock in and not be, gaslit and not have somebody telling us, and what something is true, but you let somebody pull you off of what you know to be true. We got to pass this test. You would have to do this regardless of if this was not going on in the world, but all the more you have to do it now. Because people around you are slowly going to start to panic. And when they start panicking, you got to be locked in. I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to do. Intuition already told me I'm on the path. Not like, oh my God, I'm not going to have no money. What am I going to do? Do what intuition been telling you to do. Follow the voice of wisdom and you'll be fine. Okay. So we got to conserve our energy, avoid wasted effort, protect ourselves from things that pull us off the path, but get serious about doing the thing. When you know you're supposed to do the thing, you need to do the thing. And for a lot of you, intuition brought you to this group. So if I'm giving you things and I keep repeating and it keeps sparking in you, you keep writing it down in your notebook, make sure you're actually going and doing those things so that it can compound. Content, audience, trust, reputation, personal brand. People who have some type of community around them in their work, some kind of narrative, are going to be okay. People who have been depending on these systems and these institutions, it's going to be bad. Okay, so you got to make an investment when you can't see anything and get on the other side of it. I can't explain what happens in the womb. I'm just telling you that seeds, roots grow down first, and then all of a sudden you got a tree. That's what I'm telling you. So you can do the same thing. Go for it, Tracy.
Even crypto, dog, goes back to what you've been saying, because when I was first starting in crypto, I started to ask, what is it that makes this worth anything? I don't get it. I kept asking this question. And what came out was it's community. It's like people that are backing it say it's worth something. They believe in it, whether it's a dolphin or a whale, or whether it's the Trump coin or whatever. It's the people. And when the people back out of it, it's worth nothing. So it's back to what you're saying. It's like it's based on maybe an even more sincere real system than fiat is at this point.
All financial capital is social capital. Mm-hmm. Things are valuable because we say they are. And I'm telling you now that something's going to happen where the entire world says, yeah, this USD, no more. And it's not going to be the global reserve currency anymore. And then all of your USD is going to be worthless, just like what happened in Zimbabwe. If you don't know that, Google it. And you need 10 trillion of these things to pay for, a loaf of bread or something. Look at what happened before World War II in Germany to their currency. That's what's coming. So you don't want to be in that position. You want to be ahead of it. Intuition is speaking. Wisdom is speaking. The ancestors are speaking. And it's like, well, how do I get cash flow? That's why I teach entrepreneurship. I could be teaching a lot of things. I'm a Harvard trained historian and economist. I could be on the news right now. I could be on CNN. They already asked me to do that last year. I wasn't quite positioned. Now I am. You know what I'm saying? I could be talking about a lot of things. But the part that I'm supposed to teach, I got to help you reprogram your brain so you don't get caught up. So you can actually create a business that generates money because you're giving people something that they need. Because after a while, it's not about the product, it's about how you make the person feel. I was just watching something very low vibrational. By the way, please be aware of what you're eating and putting in your body. Yeah, this is not the time to just be super low vibrational. You need high quality, nutrient dense foods and things. I'm just telling you, you need all your faculties. You need all the high frequency, high thoughts right now. We got to be making different types of moves. And if you find yourself feeling tired all the time, and you might want to check your diet. And somebody who doesn't tell you that, if they don't know better or they don't love you. Okay, I'm just only telling you because I love you. You can do what you want to do. You're grown. Anyway, doing this work, having the content, building the brand, doing all these things. It's the kind of investment that it goes down first and then it comes up. It grows down first and then it sprouts up. So you gotta, the quicker you just hurry up and get past this part, you could be on the other side of it and have a community. Because after a while, what I was saying was people, even low frequency people, they know they're on a budget. They know, man, I'm spending too much money. I thought I was making much money and I'm not really making what I thought it was. Da, da, da. But they're gonna go to the store and there's certain things. Oh, I need my dot dot dot. I need my beer. I need my cigarette. I need my whatever that is. And they're gonna pay for that regardless. So in some capacity, the things that you're building, the work that you're doing, the bonds that you're creating, business is just relationships with numbers. They're going to say, you know what, I need this product. I need, I might have to cut something else out of my budget, but I need this community. You see what I'm saying? That's what you ultimately want your brand to mean for people. Go ahead, Tracy.
I love that you just got on food because I was just about to mention that. And I was like, man, this ain't got really nothing to do with the topic, but you're right. We've made food political and then we've made it some sort of religion, but food is fuel. And a lot of people, they're not conscious of what the food they're doing is doing to them. The food that they're eating is doing to them. They're not connecting the dots. And this, I need to sleep for 8 hours. If we had a car that had to be parked for 8 hours every time we put gas in it, because this is what fuel is, this is what food is, this would not be an efficient car. If we were eating better quality food, people say they enjoy sleep. Nobody can enjoy sleep. You don't even know you're doing it. You can enjoy being restful because we need rest. The body does need rest. So we have to find food that actually gives us the fuel and we don't get that niggeritis every time we finish eating, and we can actually do more and sleep less. Not because we're deprived or people, oh, I got a headache because of this, or what? No, boo, you need to look at the whole of what you're doing, not just that one moment. Yes.
Correct. It's all connected. It's all connected. We are human technology. And who am I? I'm not an expert. My fiance came save my life. He did. Because I used to say I'm I eat everything basically, which I did. Now just in my day to day, like if it was just me working, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna eat a salad. I might have a piece of salmon or something. That would be my preferred food. So it wasn't like I ate crazy for real necessarily, but theoretically I'd eat anything. Not knowing, I had no knowledge. I had no knowledge of what it was, what it wasn't. But something in me knew, because I would say to people, one day I'm going to be, I'll probably be vegetarian or whatever, right? I'm kind of pescatarian already. One day. So you can't do better than what you know. But I'm telling you that when it comes to having a business, when it comes to being a high value entrepreneur and having thoughts that are going to spark you an idea that's going to hurry up and catapult you so you can hurry up and get out the way, it matters what you're putting in your body, because your frequency is affecting their literal. There are layers, levels of consciousness, okay, that you're not able to tap into when your frequency is low. It's just what it is. Okay. So if, as Black people now, we've been in environments, professional environments, academic, social environments, where they expect you to be perfect out the gate. You can't mess up. You have to perform. We have to be corporate. We have to be considered perfect, and all of that. Because if we didn't produce evidence right away that we were somebody, then now it's a problem, or we would dismiss. Okay, we would lose access, all that kind of stuff. So what that's done is conditioned you to think everything has to be perfect right out of the gate, and that's not the case. And doing this work, being creative, like look, every tree outside is different, every single one of them, but the mechanics of how they grow from a seed are the same. But each one is going to take a different path. Each one, the root system is going to look different. It's very unique to you, your business, your background, your worldview, who you're serving, what you're doing, and all of that. So the more I can get you to lock in and detach from all these people in your ear, well, you need to do this. Everybody got an idea for you every 2 days who don't know what they're doing because they've never built a business from scratch. Why are they telling you what you need to be doing in your business? Why do they have this level of access to you? It's messing with your ability to tune into your intuition. Now, that's not to say we don't take outside counsel, but you should be so discerning that you could tell when somebody's saying something on the frequency. Oh, yeah, boom, that's confirmation. Boom, do that. But most of the time, they just yapping. Oh, why don't you try this? Oh, you need to do this. Well, what about da? Well, how about you know what I'm saying? Well, do you know what I think you need to do? Oh, what are you basing this on? What did you eat for? Like, now I have to ask. We joke about this now. What are they eating? I don't even know if I can listen to them, because it could be parasites talking. Like, I can't listen to everybody. I'm on a journey. This is sacred. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual act. Everybody's not gonna make it. Go ahead, Trace.
No, this is not even what I was gonna say. That is deep. Someone say something to you. What are you eating? It could be damn parasites.
I have questions. Like, I just need to know.
You what's that movie with Will Smith where he was doing a movie? Oh yeah, Independence Day, and then the person's like, "Get me out of here, get me out," and then they were like, "Hold on. Don't open the door yet." And they realized it was the damn alien talking inside of the guy. It wasn't even the guy that was even alive anymore. Mm-hmm. So I get what you're saying, but I don't even know what I was about to say, because when you said that, you're right. You need to ask people, what are you eating?
I mean, not literally, but
no, but you have to understand where. So what I was going to say was my daughter is well-meaning. She's great. Yet yesterday she was telling me, yeah, and mom, your videos are too long and stuff like that. And I didn't say anything because I already knew based on what I could have told her, well, I have longer content for this, YouTube. I have to go through it. I'm like, yeah. I said, okay. I just listened, but it was okay because I knew where I stand. And I think the reason why we defend ourselves sometimes, because once again, like I told you, we have doubts, so we interact with people that confirm our doubts. They bring us to the frequency level that we're most comfortable with. So it's not that they're doing anything wrong. They're actually supporting where we are. They're supporting the nervous system that we're catering to. And that's why when she said that yesterday, I was like, yeah, okay. And I just went on my day. It felt like nothing. It meant nothing. I loved her the same, but I was like, okay. I'm like, okay.
Yep. Yeah, because we don't have time. Guess who gets to tell you when your videos are too long? Your audience and your paying clients.
There.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody that I ask, if I were to go ask anybody, people who have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, they would tell me, dog, you can't just sit up and just talk to people for 2 hours. Okay, but guess who don't want to get off the phone every time I show up? And I could pull from this, and it's making me a better teacher, so I could show up in 90 seconds and say what I said, because I've been talking for 2 hours for 2 years. And guess who told me that this is valuable? Y'all did.
Damn. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't take that advice from somebody who's never been where I'm trying to go. You never did this like I'm doing this. So that was a good example. But the version of you, the person that normalizes making $10,000, $20,000 a month, that, or somebody who's already doing that in their business right now, not the ones who got lucky, they got a contract because they know somebody and they put them on. I'm not talking about that, because you can't replicate that. And then if that person get mad at you, now you ain't got no contract no more. I'm not talking about that. People who build this from the inside out, they just are willing to stay in the invisible phase longer than you. They're willing to do the part that feels like, I don't see what this has to do with. Just do it. I'm giving you the recipe. I'm telling you how to build an engine. And you talking about, well, I don't really see why I don't need the pistons. I'll just leave that part out of the recipe. Okay, well, your car not going to run. I don't really understand why I need flour. I mean, I said I want cake. I don't need this white stuff in the bag. I just want the cake. So let me just go. I know it's some sugar, it's sweet. So let me just go ahead with the sugar and the icing, because I just need a cake. I don't need this part. I'm going to leave that part out. Well, guess what? You're not going to get a cake. So you got to be willing to go through the part when it goes in the oven and nobody's ever seen a cake being made before. They're just like, well, this doesn't look like cake. I don't see what you're doing. I think you need to. Have you ever made cake before? No, but I eat plenty of cake and I'm just okay. The person who makes cakes has studied all the people who've been making cakes and came back and said, every cake has these elements in it, or this is the pathway to find out which of these elements must be included in my cake. So am I gonna listen to the person who, I don't see why it takes all of that? Or am I gonna listen to somebody who makes cakes? These are the decisions you have to make. Intuition is the best example of that, because your intuition is tapped into a higher frequency. Your intuition has already gone ahead of you and has turned around and reverse engineered and say, okay, it's GPS. You want to get over here, there's an obstacle that way. You need to go this way. Well, I don't see why I got. So if you can't see it, you're not going to do it. That's what you're telling me. So that I'm letting you know you're not going to be successful in business, because entrepreneurship is a spiritual act. That means you can't see everything. That's why you bring in advisors and coaches and people who've been somewhere where you've never been before. When they tell you you need to do this, and they keep asking you for the same thing over and over and over, you don't keep skipping it talking about, well, I don't feel like I need to do that. And intuition, same way. But the more we train our intuition, the more we protect our energy, the easier it's going to be for you to discern that. But if we don't, it's going to disrupt your progress, because progress, driving across the country, most of that trip is not, it's the Grand Canyon, it's mountains. Most of it is just a straight flat. Texas take you 2 days to get out of Texas. And it's just as flat and boring as it could be. It feels, are we even going anywhere? Have we passed this cow already? Is all looking the same. But you trust that intuition. You trust that GPS. I'm looking at it says I'm going west, 20 west, 10, whatever it turns into 10. I'm headed west. I see the sun setting in my face every day. I'm going the right way. Keep going. So we don't measure our progress by what you can see. You measure it by two things: who you are becoming and what your audience gives you feedback that they like it, they love it, they want more of it. That's it. Okay, not somebody's opinion of what they, who are these people? I don't care, family, whoever it is. Who? Because see, they're measuring by a different metric. They're measuring by, they think that you're trying to get 1 million followers on your socials. And again, some of y'all might, but that is not the objective. I want you to have enough people that are always coming into your business, always getting on that conveyor belt, so you always have your full. Your cohorts are full. You hit your revenue goals for the month, for the quarter. Consistent. That's what we're measuring by, not what somebody thinks is going to be hot on social. They don't know. They don't know. Okay. So anybody who's not, if you have a partner in business, I hope that they're in this energy with you. But if they're not in this energy with you, it's gonna be difficult. They may not understand why you're doing certain things or not doing certain things. But you gotta follow your discernment, follow your intuition, and don't let nobody get you off your path. Okay? So here's the problem. You gotta be consistent about the right things. Because then you get people on TV and on Instagram and want to preach an inspirational sermon talking about just persevere, just keep going, just never give up, and all of this kind of follow your passion. No, also no. Okay? We're not repeating things that aren't working. We're looking for feedback loops. That's why we mind our T and grits, thoughts, emotions, actions, giving, receiving. That's the feedback loop. Intentionality, we refocus your time, that's your schedule, and the state of your nervous system. So we're not just doing things, but we're in anxiety while we're doing it, because everything that you put out through your time, energy, effort, focus, and attention has an energetic signature to it. And how you put it out is how it's going to be received by the people. So I can have the greatest song, the greatest voice in the world, but if I get up there, because I'm scared, is nobody going to feel what they need to feel. The exchange is not going to happen. You got to show up in the right energy. You got to show up in the right frequency. You got to do it the right way. You got to have a feedback loop. People are responding to this. Do more of this. It's not, it can't be based on your ego. That's not sustainable. You cannot build a business based on ego. So this is a lot of work. Like, you really have to become the version of you with the purity, detachment. Is, you know what I'm saying? It's not about you, not trying to prove something to nobody, not trying to be seen, none of that. It's like, this is what I believe. This is what I'm doing. There we go. Put it out there. Listen and look for the feedback loop. And then watch the game film, tweak it, do it again. Tweak it, do it again. Talk to 50 humans. Let's see what the patterns are. Let's see what the data says. If you post for 3 weeks straight and you going on this way and nobody's responding, you either talking to the wrong people or you need to change up how you're talking. Not persevere and just keep going. Do you see what I'm saying? So we got to find the balance in this. This is a very narrow pathway that we have to walk. That's why few there be that find it. All right. So we're repeating the things, looking for patterns, taking that data, and then tripling down on the things that are actually working. So we don't go too far to the left, or, oh, I don't see no results, so now I'm going to stop doing this and start doing something else and completely start over. But we don't go too far to the other side. And it's like, I'm going to keep going even though nobody wants this. And everybody told me my food is nasty, but I'm just going to keep, because I don't stop believing. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard a sermon. And he told me in church, don't quit. I might be right on my breakthrough. My breakthrough was right around. All it. No. Okay, we have to mature. We're not gonna make it in what's coming if we don't find that balance. Okay. So when you show up like this, you'll come back stronger. You'll have the inner fortitude to show up and review, what's working, what's not working. Do it again, show up again, find the joy in the work. Remember, by tapping into love, get your heart frequency together. That's how you activate the genius zone in your brain. Now you're doing these things, and it will come from a place of joy. There'll be joy in the work. You'll be looking for peace, that inner knowing, like, I'm not basing it on that I hear back from this person. I just know I was supposed to do what I just did, so I did it. And now I'm moving on. You'll have a peace that transcends. You'll keep transcending this 3D. That's how you stay detached. That's how you escape the matrix. You have the patience to keep showing up, doing it again, doing it again, doing it again. Why? Because I'm tuned into the frequency. I know. I don't know, but I know. There's power in that. Third eye, it's a lot going on when you start moving like this. It's not based on what you can see and all of that. You're just locked in. Right? That's the version of you that I'm speaking to. Everything else, let it go. Okay? So we can't be starting and stopping and slowing down and then starting over and doing all of that, because you can never compound. But you can't just be doing what you want to do completely based on your ego and everybody's saying, I don't like this. is at all. Your audience is not responding at all. Okay. If you get that consistency going and you show up in this energy, I'm telling you, there's an integrity there, there's some character there, there's, higher thoughts, there's higher frequency. You're going to have better ideas. Your posts are going to be a little different than everybody else. It's going to make people stop. It's going to do all the things we've been studying. And then when you do that, the audience will start to recognize your name. The algorithm will start to understand what it is you do and who needs to see it, who to put it in front of. Okay, the potential client, you're going to start solving the 7-Eleven for some of your clients out there. Okay, so that's what you want. It's the consistency. It's the every time I have this, I get the same experience. I don't have to question about it. I know it's going to be every time. Because I've had people try to sell me different products and different food, and people always trying to give me stuff and try this, and first time you do it, it's like, okay, I like this. Next time you get it, it's a totally different experience. Hold on. There's no consistency. I can't trust this. I can't come back, and I certainly can't send somebody else over there because I don't know from one day to the next what I'm gonna get from you. So this is mandatory. We gotta do the progress. Even I'm saying this is a higher calling, if you will. You gotta treat your work as sacred every day. Not something you have to do. It's something that you get to allow to flow through you to reach your people and create a space where there can be a consistent and constant exchange or flow, which is where your money resides. Okay. So any kind of compounding, the story of the penny that doubles. If you double a penny every day for 30 days, first day you got a penny, second day you got 2 cents, third day you got 4 cents, 8 cents. Go on. By the time you get to the end of the month, you got over $5 million. Okay, so the early parts of any compounding process are structurally by design. Like when you get pregnant or whatever, you put the seed in the ground. Early parts of any compounding process are nearly invisible. Invisible. Okay, when you first start working out, you don't see anything. You first start changing your diet, I'm gonna lose this weight. I don't see nothing. I'm gonna grow my hair out. You don't see nothing. But that's where progress begins, and it's very, very real. You just can't see it yet. Okay, so the story I was telling, running a marathon, doing all this, when she first started running and training and doing nothing, tired legs, the legs are burning, everything, nothing. Then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and it's like, whoa. I'm looking for that day. I want people who have the capacity and have the character to stay in this thing long enough for that day to come. It won't take long when you lock in. It takes long when you don't follow intuition. You just stop and don't do anything, or you keep starting over because you're afraid to just lock in and keep doing what you're doing in the spirit that you're supposed to be doing it. That's what makes it take long. So I'm actually done. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, challenges, perspective, feedback, or personal story time before we go? I'm working on not talking as long to give y'all some time back every day. Go, Tracy.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Thank you, Doll. I was going to say that the consumer mentality even affects us as we are in our business, because when you're talking about this runner and not seeing the results, a lot of people feel like I train too hard. Not me, but like they're like, oh, I'm so sore afterwards. I this and that. Like I want to have them see the results like right then, because I know people go to the store, they buy something, they get it. So I can't even be honest with them. Like, listen, it took you about 20 years to get to the state that you're in. it's going to take some time to reverse this train, to stop this train.
Mm-hmm.
And so that mentality of consumerism, as you keep telling us, I can see I've even lost clients that way because they feel like I've gone too hard because I want them to get the results like now. Like, okay, now you feel your tricep, now you feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it doesn't work that way, and they understand it that way too, that they shouldn't have it. But in my mind, I wanted them to have something they could take with them from day one. And I've lost many clients that way too. And then looked at as a crazy trainer. Oh, like she can have us doing all this sort of stuff. What the hell? And that's because I have that consumer. They paid for training. Now let me give them results today. Because consumers go to the store and you get what you get today.
Not seeing where the apple came from, the seed in the orchard, in the truck, and the transportation. Months for something to get to your grocery store, right? So that's an opportunity for you. That's also why all of us, we have to walk our clients into things, right? So you need to have something that's very like meet them exactly where they are, very beginner friendly or whatever. And during that early version of what you do, you need to be educating them so that they know that this is a process, so they know to expect it to take this time, so that they start off with a commitment. I need you to do this for 90 days. I need you to do this for this long. If you really want results, this is what it's going to require. You have to train your people in mentally.
And now I'm about that life, but it's like, in back in the day, and this is just a new transformation, just working with you. I'm about that life now, but back in the day when someone's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Florida in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Oh, I have a wedding in 3 weeks. Or, oh, so I'm thinking this is my responsibility to turn this clay into some kind of thing quickly.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the courage to tell them, like, even when like, oh, they're like back in the day, people were like, I'm like, well, so what is it? How do you want? What do you want to look like? Oh, we want to look like you, your body, stuff like that. When I was used to train, when I used to be younger. And it's like, I don't let them know, like literally I work out every day. So it's like, I'm not telling people to do that, but I am saying that I think I give them this consumer mentality because they paid and they're paying in advance, but they need to receive the results.
So here's
it's a mess.
Here's what I'm telling you. Even as because I heard what you said, I didn't have the courage. This is why I talk so much. This is an identity shift that is required for all of us as entrepreneurs, because you now should be the version of you that's able to say, oh, I got a wedding in 3 weeks. Like, so if somebody come to me, oh, child, I need to make some money, da 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 da. Well, I can't really help you with that. That's not what I do here. I'm gonna help you reset your identity and seek expansion, but you're not gonna just make money in 2 weeks. How long you been doing this? Oh, about 5 years. How much money you done made? Oh, I got like 2 clients ever. Okay, no. So you should be telling people, oh yeah, no, it takes at least 90 days. You gotta commit to my program. If you can't commit, that's not your client. That's not your client.
I appreciate you telling me that, because there's so much in this that I realized, because you always connect it with nature, like you just said, the plants and the trees, and I'm realizing this thing affects the way we do one thing is the way we do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, I see how. Yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to mention real quickly. Good evening, good day, everyone. Hi, Ms. Dahl. That I was watching former President, First Lady, Becoming, and the things that she said on there, as far as her and former President Barack Obama's are in their empty nest state, and I'm going to make a green screen about that and flip it and talk about what I do. So it's just really comforting.
Cool. I love that. I don't even think I've watched the documentary, but that's perfect. Exactly. Everybody has anybody who's ever told a story about that you could pull from, because people already have an emotional connection to them. So you pulling from that brings them right into your world. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So y'all, the invisible phase, this part, where the compounding starts, where the investment begins, where the flywheel starts to turn. We need to live here. This is the secret sauce. This is where that thing is birthed, that spark that comes from the unseen and comes into the scene and turns it into a thing. Remember, I asked you guys a couple of 100-day challenges ago. I said, Have you ever seen the Google building in your city or wherever you are? Or an Amazon truck? Is that the company? Everybody says no. Okay, is the box the Amazon stuff it comes in? Is that with the logo on it? Is that the company? No. Is the website what, is that the company? No. So where's the company? What touch it? Where is it? And the answer is it's this invisible thing that exists between the people who work there and the people who shop there. This narrative that we all believe, and we all act according to what we believe, beliefs, actions, results about this company. So when you're starting something from zero, you have to literally birth it. You have to spark it forth into the world. And then you have to create an engine that has that narrative going, going, going. People hear the story, they come to you, get a service, they go and tell other people, they work with you, you got this result. And then they tell more people, and they come back to you, and you got to hire, you got to train your website, your workers, your staff, everybody has to be trained to do that and do it again and do it again. And it turns into an engine. That spark where it takes on a life of its own and it does that on autopilot when we get to step 5 on the roadmap. That's what your business actually is. Everything else is just icing on top of that cake, or it's the ingredients that go in the cake. But the thing that makes it real is actually invisible, but it's very real. This is the spark. That's why they call it a legal entity. That's what makes it live and sustain outside of you. But if you don't do this invisible part that I'm talking about and do it again, show up, do it again, you'll never have that. You'll always be hustling, always be running, trying to find the next client instead of building something that draws those people to you. So wherever you are, if you're in the invisible part of your business, before it's gotten to autopilot and all that, you're posting and building and creating, and you're seeing 2 posts, 2 likes here and this and that there, you're not behind. This is the most important part of the whole process. This is the phase that separates people who have something to show for it versus people who quit and just keep jumping to the next thing and jump to the next thing. Oh, I had this business last time I saw you 5 years ago. Now I'm in a totally another business. Now I'm in another one. And you haven't made no money off of any of them. You'll notice most serial entrepreneurs, they start a business, they might fail or whatever, but they start one that makes some money. Then they take that money and invest and do another one. Then they take that money and invest and do another one. You're supposed to be able to take these skills and apply it to anything. Okay, so the boring part, the invisible part, the part that you think nobody's watching, it counts. Okay, when you're posting and the roots are growing down before they grow up. Okay, because eventually you're gonna put enough bricks up and you're gonna have a wall, and then you're gonna keep, hammering and doing what you need to do, and you're gonna have a door, and then you're gonna build some steps so somebody can walk up your front porch, and then eventually these people are gonna start knocking on the door and start coming in. These human interactions will turn into transactions. Why? Because physics. That's just how it works. So, anybody else? Hearts and minds. If all hearts and minds are clear. A question from the stream. What's the 7-Eleven for principle? Yes, I got you. All right. So there was a study by Google back in 2014, and they, everything was switching over to digital marketing by that point. Most people are on social media. Like, the world has totally shifted, right? The way we do marketing, everything is online. It's not 1985. Okay. So they did a study and it was based on neuroscience and all this. And what they discovered is that a piece of content is similar to why, when you're watching sports, you're watching the Super Bowl, or you're watching basketball or March Madness or whatever, the Oscars, right? A company will play, you'll see the same ad. Like, if you're streaming, they'll play the same ad every commercial break. You see it again. They might have 2 or 3 variations, but it's the same ad from the company. They play it again. And you might not even know what it is. Like, there's this thing called like QQQ or something. They always like to play that one in sports. It's like some investment thing. We don't even know what that is. But you know the brand because they just play it. So old school advertising is based on like this repetition, because it's neuroscience. It's literal, actual psychology. Your brain will think something is familiar to you just because you've been exposed to it over and over and over. It's like when you live in a small town and you just every day you go to Main Street, you walk to school, you pass the same person every day, so you wave. You don't know this man. You never been in his house. You don't know his kids. You don't know nothing about him, but you feel like that's Mr. Man and I know him. They see you, oh, that's such and so, we know her. Because repetition. So when we got to digital marketing space, now there's more media, there's more noise. We got cable, instead of 4 major networks, it's hundreds of channels, and people can be doing anything and everything on their phone, right? So they're trying to do a study to figure out, well, how do we still stay relevant and basically still get people to buy stuff from us? And you can Google it. 7-11-4 is a study by Google. You can Google it. And what they said was the human brain must be exposed to anywhere between 4 to 7, but they said 7 hours of content. So think about your favorite music artist. That's the best way to understand it. 7 hours of content. Well, how do you do that? You sell an album. Then you bring the album home. You listen to the album over and over and over and over and over and over again. You spent 7 hours with this person. You feel like you know them. They said they had to be exposed to them at least 11 different times. So what do they do when the new artist breaks? What do? Every 30 minutes, every hour, they're playing that single again. Play it again. Play it again. Play it again. 11 different times. You feel like you know them. And 4 means 4 different associations with that person. So like, that's why they go on Good Morning America. They go on the Today Show. Then they go, you see them on the cover of a magazine. Then they play the music video. Then you see them on the Tonight Show. And then, they're always somewhere. Then they on the red carpet. Like, why? Because it's neuroscience. You feel like you know them and you're just having whole conversations about these people. You don't know these people, never met them before in your life. But you'll argue somebody down about your favorite celebrity because 7-11-4. So how does this apply in the digital space? 7 hours of content. This is why we need long form content, 10, 20 longer minute, videos and, thought leadership, and you giving workshops and you teaching or speaking, public speaking, whatever that is, because somebody needs to be able to spend about 7 hours with you, listening to your thought leadership, all the stuff that you know in your head. They don't know that you know. If they don't hear you talking, how are you ever going to transfer? It's a transfer of energy. It's an exchange of energy. They got to not just have tried your product one time. They have to buy into the whole narrative of what your brand is and what y'all represent in your company. If it's not you, if you're not the face of the brand, somebody in your company has to do this part. Okay. 7 hours. So the more, if you have everything that you do is TikTok in short form, that's cool. But it's going to take like 400 pieces of content to crack 7 hours. Versus if you're doing 15 or 20 or 30-minute episodes or podcasts or whatever, right? They get there faster. 7 hours. Long form, archive, listening to your thought leadership. 11. They need to see you in their feed at least 11 times within a 90-day period. Otherwise, their brain resets. They don't remember you from Adam. They don't remember, put the name with the face and brand and the this and the that. So you got to be in the feed enough so that they see you every couple of whatever, at least 11 times within a short window. And then 4, see you on Twitter. I see you on LinkedIn. I saw you on YouTube. I saw you on the other person's podcast. I saw you over here. The more you start showing up like that, or I saw you in this blog. I saw you in the Forbes thing. I saw you, whatever. You have 4 different associations like that. If you can solve 7-11-4 for more people, they will get to know, like, and trust you faster. This is proven. So that's a great question. And I know I don't teach that every single day, but we went over that several weeks ago in the 100-day challenge. So any other questions? This is why we got to do this work and stay through the silent part. Because once you build the system, build the apparatus, then it starts to work for you. Then people just saw your content, go to click the thing in your bio or whatever. Then they find some experience that gives them something free. Then they're hanging out with you more. Now they're on your email list, and now they keep seeing you in your feed, and they start saving your stuff because it's really speaking to them. And now then they're having conversation about it, and then it's just like you are a known entity in their mind now. So when they think of whatever it is that you do, your name comes to mind, and they will buy something from you. They will recommend you. They'll be in a room. Oh, we're looking for this, this, and this. They'll recommend your brand, and you're not even there. 7-Eleven 4. So anybody else?
Hey, I do want to say something really quickly. I have a question.
Yes.
More so. What are your thoughts about like people that are trending? Like I see a lot of people that get on like Instagram and they have like these thousands and thousands of followers and they don't even really have much to say. And I just find it fascinating that these people are like monetizing the system and people that are like you said have integrity and work hard to try to get their stuff and people to purchase from them are having much more difficulty than like I guess like the trendy people. So what are your thoughts about that and what would you say to keep from being discouraged about it?
Excellent question. You're welcome, Patrice. She said thank you for answering that. Excellent question, Asia. And that's why I talk so much. Our objective in this part anyway of the business is not necessarily to be trending or to go viral or whatever, right? Our objective right now is to hit our magic number, what I call our magic number, to learn a formula, a way of showing up that gets a certain number of people into our world and then walk through the system that we're building for them and get enough sales out on the other side, right? So two ways to look at it. One is that it's like I'm not actually concerned because I know somebody who got 2 million views they typically would get on their posts and stuff like that, and they actually weren't making that much money. So that's first thing. It sometimes even if they're monetized on that channel or on YouTube, whatever, they're not necessarily making that much money from all those views. That's number one. She was actually walking around begging, can someone help her make some money? I got all these views and that kind of energy. So, ma'am, your energy is bad. That's why you're not making no money. But anyway, so that's first thing. We're not looking for metrics and views. That's not what we're focused on. But the second way to think of it is you got to remember that our whole point in doing this, right, is for our narrative to get out. So instead of, you made a point about like people who are trending. Okay, if we started, there's somebody that I watch every day on YouTube. This is where some of my news I get from him. He has like 2.5 million followers or something like that. For whatever reason, his very first video that he ever made on YouTube is like back up in the feed. It's trending right now for I don't know why. And it was 17 years ago when he first started on YouTube. And I noticed a lot of people that have millions and millions of followers and this and that, a lot of them started like 10, 12 years ago. So, the algorithm is just already trained to just send a lot of traffic to them, is basically what I'm saying. So they're kind of in a different category. It would be kind of like if you were in 8th grade and you decided you were going to, join. I know I'm late, but I'm about to start playing basketball. And I want to work really hard and I'm going to hopefully I can get on varsity and do all of that by the time I get to, 10th grade or whatever. Well, you're behind. Most little kids now are playing from age, they got videographers following them around the basketball court when they're 8 years old nowadays. They got Instagram accounts and scouts and all type of stuff going on, right? So you're a little bit behind, and that's okay. So people who've been on the platforms for a long, long time have a lot of algorithmic, sway behind them. But number one, they're probably not necessarily making money directly off of all those views. And number two, it doesn't matter because the more focused you are, the more specificity that you tap into, like we keep talking about, your audience is going to know it's for you. They're going to know your message is for them. Rather, they're going to be checking for you. They're going to be saving your posts, sharing it. And you just want super fans at this point. We don't need, you could be the best kept secret at this stage of the company. We just want people who are like, nope, I got to have this product. It's in my budget. I don't play about this. And every time you send stuff, you just reinforce. Every time you post, rather, you're reinforcing how they feel about you. They don't play about you and your brand. Right now, that's who we're catering to. After we get to step 5 on the roadmap and we get some stuff documented, then I got some strategies that we can use to try to, go ahead and get some of these placeholders out of the way. That's what I call most of them placeholders. If they don't really have any real substance, they're just talking or doing silly stuff online, they're just placeholders, child. We got some for that. So we're gonna get our money first and get stable first, and then we can let them know who we are on the numbers side of the game too.
Thank you.
Absolutely, that's a great question.
Thank you. And just to add a little bit on what you're saying, as far as like your people, basically, my tribe is finding me now.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting a lot of people that are responding. Like when I went to my event on Saturday, one lady said, I wake up and I look forward to looking at what you're posting. So she's like, you're like my cup of tea right now.
There you go.
She goes to my page and like to see what I have to say. So like, and I'm getting a lot of feedback. Oh my gosh, you're coming into yourself. Like, I see you. Like everybody's like, I see you. I see what you're doing. I love it. I love this content. So, I just appreciate that I've been able to use what you're giving me and hone in on my brain.
Absolutely. So now the way to think about it, this is why this is why I was saying all this all day today. This is when we lock in. We want 100. You already have 100, but focus. We want 100 people just like her looking for your post every day. Ooh, what recipe? Ooh, I need to make sure I say, ooh, And then if we can get 100, we can get 200. If we can get 200, we can get 400. We can get them all to an email list and get them hyped. Boom. If we can get them all to some platform where you can hit a button and talk and they can immediately respond back to you, like that. If you can get 500, you can get 1,000. You know what I'm saying? You want to laser. You don't want to think broad and think I need 1 million people. No, you need 100 people like her. Like you said, yes, your tribe. You need 100 people who don't play about you, who looking for you, checking for you, rocking with you. And that laser focus is what is going to compound. And the next thing you know, you're going to turn around and have not just tens of thousands of followers on Instagram. You're going to have thousands of people in your active, like I could put my hand on them, community that are rocking with you, buying from you, telling other people about you, and don't play about you. And that's the layers of protection that we want. It's a community of engaged buyers who have worked with you before, have bought from you before. When you go in the store, they're gonna be activating. Oh, when are you coming to this market? When are you coming to St. Louis? We're gonna be ready. Like that. The more you focus on that, the easier it is to have, whatever those numbers are. It comes as a byproduct. So yes, keep going. I love it. I love to hear it. When we post with intention, y'all, people notice. And that's what we want. We want that one person. Okay, now let me get 10 just like that. Where did I find her? Where did she come from? Let me make sure I'm speaking. Now when you write with her in mind. When you post, create videos, have that actual person in your mind. Like you're having a conversation with them. It's gonna work, y'all. It's gonna work. I'm telling you. So if our hearts and minds are clear, I will have some very specific and practical things for you tomorrow. I try to balance it out. So yeah, tomorrow's like day 83 or so. We're getting there. Y'all, we about to do something with our life, about to have another 100-day challenge under our belt. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's do it again tomorrow, same time, same place. And good surprises coming. Everybody keep checking your inboxes. It's coming. I promise you it's coming. So to the next one. We gotta go. I gotta go. We out. Pew!